everyone, that was Trixie Tang with My Night off their EP Sunday Cruisin'.
Yeah, I was wondering what night he liked to party. Didn't quite catch that.
You know what my night is?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm sure. I think it's Wednesday. Hey, check him out on Facebook and Twitter and Spotify. May 11th, they're going to be in Holland at the New Holland Brewery, and it's nuts with Tulip Time right now. It'll be packed. May 17th in Grand Rapids at the intersection, they're going to be playing with Striper. And then on May 20th in Grand Haven, they're actually shooting a video for the song that we're going to play at the end of the show called Sunday Cruisin'. So if you're in the area, go down there. And if it's Friday, party, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, especially if they're doing it on a Friday night, right?
It's the 20th.
So I don't have a calendar in front of me.
Yeah, it's Sunday, so Sunday might be your night to party.
Yeah. Well, I'm ready to party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be an awesome show.
Oh, yeah, it is. I'd like to introduce our guest, Rick Garrett.
Hey, Dave. Hey, Brandon. How you guys doing?
Great. Thanks for coming on.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, I'm glad to be here. I'm excited about it.
Hey, we would definitely appreciate it, buddy.
Yep, glad to do it. Glad Neil hooked us up.
Brandon, you want to get this started?
Yeah. It's kind of a goofy question and kind of generic, but who was your favorite comics growing up? I mean, who inspired you to do this, or you know what I mean?
Right. Oh, sure. Well, so I was born and spent my early years in East Tennessee, so I come from people that were great storytellers. So I love comedians that are great at weaving stories. And the two kings of those, the two guys that are my biggest inspirations are Bob Newhart, which a lot of the younger generation knows him as more of an actor, either from Newhart or the Bob Newhart Show, or as Professor Proton on Big Bang Theory. But he had an extensive stand-up comedy career before that. His album, The Button-Down Mind of Bob Newhart, was the first comedy album to go gold, which is a pretty significant milestone. So love Bob Newhart and Andy Griffith, who also is known more as an actor from, of course, The Andy Griffith Show and Matlock and No Time for Sergeants. But he also was a fantastic stand-up comedian before he became an actor. So I love both of those guys because they really knew how to weave a story and hold a person's attention for kind of an extended amount of time.
Now, speaking of comics, who's the favorite, your favorite one that you've worked with so far?
Well, there's a couple. One is Dave the King Wilson, who actually is local to me, and folks around Central Indiana will recognize Dave as one of the voices of the the Indy Racing League. He's broadcasted the 500 for almost 50 years. He's another one of those great storytellers, and Dave is very personable and has an encyclopedia knowledge of auto racing. Just about any IndyCar trivia question you ask him, he knows the answer off the top of his head. Dave's, like I said, a great storyteller, and then one of the other ones is Dave Dugan, who also is from the Indianapolis area. Dave is well known not only in stand-up circles but as a voiceover artist, and you've heard him on all kinds of nature TV shows and national commercials and so on. Dave, very quick-witted and really, really a smart comic. He does a lot of jokes that you really have to think about. And there's a comic out of Louisville named Marty Polio, who is just phenomenal. Marty is more than just a comedian. He's also an actor, a juggler, a magician, and he does this whole stage show that just captivates you from start to finish. So I love working with all of those guys. Another one is Kevin Burke, who currently is out in Las Vegas Entertainer of the Year, and mind reader, comedian, magician, actor again. So I really like the guys that are multi-talented. We didn't touch a lot about this in our pre-show interview, but I'm also a musician. So I like guys that find a way to weave all of their talents into one show.
Yeah, I feel like storytelling is almost a lost art, and if you can do it well, it's fantastic. So as far as
You're right.
like kind of storytelling goes, when it comes to like the sports bit, maybe to you, maybe not the most popular, but to you, which is the better sports bit? Who's on first, Abbott and Costello or Andy Griffith's What It Was football?
Oh, absolutely. For me, it's What It Was football, because to me, comedy is real life. It's the humor that you find in real life. Andy Griffith grew up in a very small town in North Carolina. I grew up in a town of less than 200 people. And when he tells that story of stepping into that stadium and seeing a sea of people, and just being overwhelmed, he's got a way of weaving that story where you almost feel like you're there. And for me, coming from a very small town and moving to a city the size of Indianapolis, that's a feeling I can really relate to. When I first moved to Indianapolis, I was just stunned that a city this size even existed. Because like I said, I lived in a town where you could walk from one end to the other in about 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah, I actually listened to What It Was football today, driving in the car, and you can almost, the way he tells it, you can almost see it.
You can. He has a way of painting pictures with his words that few people have. In my mind's eye, as he tells that story, I can see him, walking in the stadium and getting his orange soda and not really understanding what was going on, but having the time of his life anyway.
Now, okay, speaking about big cities, every city has their, world famous, all right?
Yes.
Everybody has their world famous tenderloins. Now, you're kind of a tenderloin aficionado, correct?
I am. I mentioned to you earlier that I worked the local election today, and some guy walked in and looked at me and goes, "Is this where we vote on the town's best tenderloins?" A few years ago, I started this tenderloin blog, and I had it going about a year, and I got a call from the USA Today, and they flew a writer down to Indianapolis to spend the day with me, to write a piece on tenderloins, and the Chicago Tribune has been down here spending a day with me, and the Los Angeles Times, and it's really been an incredible journey to share that with people that have no idea what it was.
That's crazy. I did not know that.
So where can I go to get the best tenderloin?
And you cut out a little bit. What'd you say there, Betty?
Where can I go to get the best tenderloin?
Well, there are several places in Indianapolis I really recommend. The Aristocrat Pub and Restaurant's down at 52nd and College, and it's probably my overall favorite Indianapolis restaurant. They have a fabulous tenderloin. There's a place called CR Heroes up in Fishers, Jimmy B's in Carmel, which is a northern suburb of Indianapolis, and a few others, but I think those are probably the top 3 in town.
All right, Rick, I got to tell you something. The other day at work, I went up to a place. It's called One-Eyed Jack's up in Winnemac.
You know what? They have the tenderloin challenge up there, right?
Yes. Have you had their tenderloins?
I have not. I need to get up there. Did you have it?
Yes, I had it. It was by far the best I've ever had.
And I've had one other person tell me it's the best he's ever had in his life. So I need to grab my wife and make a road trip up there.
Buddy,
Dave, did you eat the challenge for lunch?
No, I was, but we had to go I had to go pick up like a bunch of computers. I was like, there's no way I'm doing this. You know what I mean? I will be doing it, though.
One of the comedians I travel with, his name is Jeremy Brown, and we both are big food fans, and we've actually talked about making the trip up there and doing the challenge. Maybe we need to do that happen. That would be a fun live podcast, wouldn't it?
There you go.
Yeah. Set it up. We'll come sponsor it.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I'll say this, Rick. Not to say too much on the tenderloins, but this, I had to cut, or like usually I can cut it in half and eat the tenderloin. I'm good.
Right.
I had to cut around, like I ate tenderloin strips before I even was able to cut the bread. Go get it. I'm telling you.
It sounds amazing.
It is. So
yeah.
Brandon, didn't you have a question about something iconic in Cincinnati that relates to food?
Yeah, and not so much to food, but more iconic in Cincinnati, Skyline Chili or Chris Sabo's Rec Spec eyeglasses?
Chris Sabo was one of those ball players, big favorite of mine, that was a lot better than he had any right to be, I think. He didn't have a ton of speed. He didn't have a ton of strength. But like Pete Rose, he had hustle and drive and determination. But those glasses are legendary. Now, so is Skyline Chili. But I'm going to throw you a curve here. And if I had to pick one iconic thing from Cincinnati, I think it would be Grater's ice cream. Don't know if you've ever had Grater's ice cream or not, but you need to try it.
I have actually heard of that place. Like I hear it's good.
Oh my gosh, their signature dish or signature flavor is black cherry chocolate chip, and it is amazing.
I'm gonna have to try it.
Grater's ice cream is great stuff.
So
Cincinnati has a rich food history. One of their local delicacies is something called geta, which is a pork, kind of a pork hash, and you deep fry it. Boy, that stuff sure is tasty.
I'm going to have to cook me something after this show.
Dude, there are 18 Graters in Cincinnati.
Is there really?
Yeah.
I'll meet you down there.
Hey,
right.
Gladly. So, okay, I got a question for you. We're talking about the
Yes,
Reds.
sir.
Pete Rose, he's kind of a lot of people want him in, a lot of people don't. What's your thoughts on him? Should he be in the Hall of Fame?
That's a really tough question, and I'm going to answer it by saying I'm really torn on that because his conduct off of the field, I don't believe in any way takes away from his achievements on the field. He forever will be one of the greats in all of baseball history. Back to the beginnings of baseball. On the other hand, baseball is kind of the all-American boy sport. So there's that image of baseball hot dogs and apple pie. If I had to make the call, I would let him in. But it's not my call to make. Regardless, he is one of the premier players ever to play the game.
Yeah, because to my knowledge, he never really bet against himself, did he?
That's my understanding. He never did, and it never affected what he did on the field. And I know that he broke the rules, but we've seen players with addiction issues and domestic violence and lots of other things. So I kind of feel like he has been unfairly singled out for some reason.
Well,
and I hate that.
Yeah, for me, Rick, this day and age, everybody's juiced and does steroids and stuff, and he gambled. What, you're going to sit there and pick and choose, stuff that really affects you getting into the Hall of Fame?
Exactly. It did not affect his playing on the field. I believe every achievement he got as a ball player, he earned it the hard way. He earned it by his hustle and determination and the way he played on the field. And I don't think we should be taking that away from him.
Sure.
Was he your favorite Cincinnati Reds player growing up?
He was my second favorite. My favorite was Johnny Bench, number 5, and I've always had a fond spot in my heart for catchers. I think that folks don't realize what a nuanced position catching is. How much a catcher has to do. You know, you look at him, you think they just have to sit behind the plate and catch a fastball, but they're calling the game and they're kind of in charge of the strategy. And you know, I read recently that they are the most injured players in the game, which I believe, and they have the highest rate of career-ending injuries of any position player in the game. So Johnny Bench was my favorite. He was just not only an amazing ball player, but a great human being. And one of the great memories of my life was that I actually got to meet him one time, and he was, to everybody that he met, he was just kind and gentle and patient, and there were all kinds of people clamoring for his attention. And you know, sometimes you'll meet a celebrity and you'll feel like they're just kind of giving you the time of day because they have to, but he really gave off an air of wanting to meet his fans, and that has always impressed me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they say never meet your heroes because you're always disappointed, but not the good guys.
And that's
still...
Yeah, not the good guys. Not the good guys.
Hey, Rick, just to kind of go back to your comedy and everything, as far as venues, where's the place you enjoy going to tell jokes?
Well, I have a fondness for old theaters, and we're seeing a trend, especially here in the Midwest, where they're taking some of these old movie theaters that were built in the 19-teens, 1920s, and restoring them. And I love those stages because you can walk on the stage and you can almost feel the presence of the entertainers that have gone before you. And it's almost a spiritual experience. It is a magical experience. I did a theater in Anderson, Indiana called the Paramount Theater, which was built in the 19-teens, if I recall correctly. And my dressing room was a dressing room that Frank Sinatra had used in the 1950s.
Oh, wow.
And the Three Stooges had appeared there, Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin, just some of the greats of live entertainment. And I love those places where I can walk in and just kind of feel the history. I like comedy clubs, but there's nothing compares to an old theater. There's just something about that history that really, that just kind of really sets me on fire.
That's awesome.
Could you imagine seeing the Three Stooges live?
Oh my gosh! You know, I suspect I'm a lot older than both of you guys, but I remember when Mo died, when Larry died, so they were still doing some active things in my teenage years and my young adult years. Mo died in 75 and Larry in 74, if I remember correctly. And I remember seeing Mo on there was a talk show called the Mike Douglas Show back in the 70s, right at the end of his life, reminiscing about the Stooges. And I just seeing them do a live stage show it had to be amazing.
I always thought, like, I loved the original, well, I guess the original to TV, like Curly, but I always thought Shemp got a bad rap, man. I thought Shemp was funny.
You know, Shemp was my favorite Stooge. I'm glad to hear you say that because I think we're in the minority. I think Shemp was the most naturally funny of the three. It always looked to me like Curly kind of had to work at what he was doing, and he was very funny, but Shemp was just naturally funny. And Larry, I think, was very underrated. And then, of course, Larry had a stroke. Curly fell ill. They replaced Curly with Shemp, and then Curly Joe DeRita and Joe Besser, and those were never the same. But the four that really were the Stooges to me were Moe, Larry, Curly, and Shemp. After Curly had his stroke, there is one movie they made where actually all four Stooges were in it. Moe, Larry, and Shemp were the three Stooges, and Curly, after having had his stroke, played a bit part. That's a great scene in that movie.
You know your Stooges.
I know my Stooges. There's a place in Pennsylvania called the Stoogeum, the Museum of the Three Stooges, and I'm going to go there. I'm going to make it out there.
I always heard an urban legend that it was like when Larry was in like a nursing home or something, that he actually had like a calloused cheek from all of the slaps he took. I read that somewhere once.
And I also read something quite similar, that his cheek. So those slaps were before the days of really good sound effects or any kind of special effects. So they were real slaps and real pokes and real punches. That he had so many blood vessels burst in his cheek that one of his right cheek was permanently red because of that. And I believe it, because if you watch some of the early Stooges, they didn't pull any punches.
No, they were all great. I feel like if you can't appreciate the Stooges with Shemp, you can't appreciate the Stooges at all to me. I just really underrated.
I agree 100%. And their story is really fascinating, because I don't know if you knew this or not, but they were Jewish, and so their last name was not Howard. They changed that name because at the time they were starting to get popular in vaudeville, there was a great anti-Jewish sentiment in the country, and they knew that they would never be able to make it with their given name. So prejudice has always existed in one form or the other, and I think that's a great reminder to us today.
So, okay, Brandon, I'm going to steal one of your questions, if you don't mind.
Yeah, because I got off the cuff question. So
okay, the Andre the Giant documentary. Have you seen that? Were you a big wrestling fan?
You know what? I am not a big wrestling fan. Although I am a big Andre the Giant fan, I have not seen that yet. But I grew up in the days of Dick the Bruiser, Wilbur Snyder, Yukon Moose Cholak, all those guys that traveled the Midwest back in the 1960s and 1970s, and played little small venues, not these big mega arenas. They would play little armories and county fairgrounds and VFW posts to crowds of 150, 200 people. And I love that era of wrestling because those guys didn't make a ton of money. They didn't draw the thousands and thousands of fans. There wasn't merchandising like there is today. So they had to do it because they loved the sport. They beat up their bodies in front of what we would think small crowds, 100, 150, 200 people, just for the love of the sport and for the love of entertaining. So the golden age of wrestling, I'm a big fan of, but modern day, not so much.
And that kind of converts over into like the stand-up comedy world, because I mean, am I wrong there? Because when you're first starting out, you're doing it for the love of it. I mean, you're not selling out stadiums.
Oh, that's right. I mean, I can't tell you how many shows I have done, and any other comedian will tell you this, for a dozen people or 25 people or a little crap hole bar in Crawfordsville, Indiana. But you know what? Some of those shows have been amazing. And you walk away kind of wishing you could just take that crowd with you every place. So, it's part of cutting your teeth. But I hope that all comedians, even those that make it far bigger than I ever will, I'm sure, can look back fondly on those days. And I've had some of those shows that were amazing. I did a show, I mentioned Kevin Burke earlier. I did a show with Kevin in Yorktown, Indiana, which is just outside of Muncie, a little town of, I don't know, 2,500 people or so. And the crowd turned, and we had to be escorted out by the police. So it's it's an interesting life.
Oh, I bet.
Okay, I got a question. I'm just kind of intrigued by it. It seems like you're a pretty talented guy, and the one thing that jumped out to me, I'm not asking you to give anything away from your show or anything, but you almost do like a tribute to Burl Ives. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Oh, I would love to, and I'm glad you brought that up. And that started that literally started because of a dream I had in the middle of the night. I had a dream in the middle of the night that I was the world's only Burl Ives impersonator. And I didn't know much about Mr. Ives other than his song Holly Jolly Christmas, Big Rock Candy Mountain. Could not go back to sleep, so I got up and got on the internet and started reading about Burl Ives and found out he was kind of a kindred spirit. Burl Ives was a storyteller, a musician, a sometimes comedian. He was an environmentalist, and my wife and I, environmental issues are very, very important to us. He loved animals, especially cats, and my wife and I are cat people. And, he was a big guy. Burl Ives was about 6'4" and about 350 pounds, so he was a big guy. There's a great picture on the internet of Burl Ives had these massive hands. When I see recordings of him playing his guitar, I don't know how he played it. His fingers are like sausages almost. But there's this great picture of this giant of a man cradling a little baby kitten and nursing it that has been abandoned. And I look at that picture and I think of the quote that the measure of a man is how he treats somebody or something that can do nothing in return for him. Right. And that just melts my heart to see that picture. So I started researching his life, which ended up putting me in touch with his family. I've talked with them, talked with folks that he has went to school with and worked some with. Fascinating man, recorded dozens and dozens and dozens of albums, made huge movies, just an amazing man that most people don't know about. He did a lot of work for the Boy Scouts, for Department of the Interior and anti-pollution and so on. So I do about a 90-minute show dressed as Burl Ives. I shave my facial hair to look like Burl Ives, and a lot of people say I do look kind of like him. And I tell his story from the time he was born in 1919 through the time that he dies, through his music, through his movies, through his activism. And I do a lot of different kinds of shows. That is, if I had to say one show I do is my absolute favorite, that is it. I love doing that show. Even though he passed before I got a chance to meet him, I feel like I've almost got to know him, and he was just a remarkable man.
That's great. It really intrigued me. I thought it was really something special, and you got to be a pretty talented guy to do stuff like that. I'm excited because we're on a sports podcast, and I got to talk Three Stooges. I got to talk Burl Ives. This is great.
Yes. Now, Rick,
life is all about the unexpected. Unexpected adventures are what make life what it is.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. That's the truth. Hey, Rick, we are running out of time. Could you kind of let everybody know about, you have a DVD coming out? Is that correct?
I do. I'll make this brief since we're running out of time.
No rush.
I recorded a full-length comedy DVD called Straight Outta Cowan. It is based on my growing up in that little town of 200 people and my life since then on the road as a musician. I spent some time as a paramedic. I spent time in the ministry. And so it's a lot of stories about life on the road, people I've met, and so on. Shot it at a theater here in Indianapolis. It is in the final edits right now. I got the master last week, sent it back for 2 very quick edits, and I may actually have the copy of the final going to the factory later on this week. So folks can go to Rick Garrett, RickGarrett.net if they want to, and check it out. And once it's ready to be shipped out, I will put information on there.
Yes, and when you get that information, you get it up on your site and everything, send it to us. We'd love to share it on our page and definitely maybe get you some people to hear your comedy.
Absolutely.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great. I also just finished a music album, and it is my 16th studio music album, but this is the first time I've done a full-length comedy album, so I'm really, really excited about it.
Well, with that being said, Brandon's kind of our musical director. We might have to get you with him and get some of your music to play on our podcast.
Yes.
Oh, that'd be great. What I do is kind of old-timey folk bluegrass style music, but man, I would love to have some on there.
It'd be our honor.
Absolutely.
Sounds awesome.
Awesome. Well, hey, Rick, we'll keep in touch, and hopefully we can have you on again. Maybe talk some more Reds.
That would be great. I would absolutely love that. And you know what? I'll give Jeremy a call. Maybe we'll do that live Tenderloin challenge.
You just let me know when, buddy.
I like it.
Right,
I do. Hey,
that would be awesome.
Keep us updated.
All right, brother, we'll do.
Thanks, Rick.
Thanks, Rick.
All right, God bless.
You too, buddy. Bye. Oh, that was great.
Yeah, it's on our shoulders now. It's a great show so far.
Yeah.
Drop the ball now.
Yeah, Rick, I'm kind of mad at you now because this is hard to fall into. You know what I mean? Kind of keep the groove going. But I'm all for this Tenderloin challenge.
Dude, I just like when I started kind of researching him. You know, I grew up on Laurel and Hardy and Three Stooges and Andy Griffith. I mean, every day I watched that with my dad growing up, and it was just, and what it was football. I always thought was really underappreciated, and then I was just like, man, I get to finally get to talk to somebody about it. Just awesome.
We're definitely gonna have to book him again soon, especially come heat up baseball season.
Yeah, and definitely get some tunes.
Yeah. I'll be in touch with him after the show, even. So
yeah, I mean, I'm not discriminating against music. I've been trying to find a good like hip hop group. I think I email John Prine at least once a day. So,
you know,
we get a restraining order or not.
Have you reached out to Cameo?
I have not. I'm trying. I want John Prine.
Hey, he had mentioned he was kind of a fan of the catchers in baseball, correct?
Yes.
There's some horrible news that happened over the weekend.
Yeah, if you guys haven't heard, Yadier Molina, the catcher for the Cards, 102-mile-an-hour fastball. And you want to explain what happened there?
Well, let's just. I don't even know if I can explain it. I don't even want to talk about it. Like, it hurts me.
The ball hit him in an area where a catcher would get hit because he's squatting.
Exactly, and it's there for the open, and that ball went right to it and split him.
It was a splitter then.
It wasn't a fastball. It was a splitter.
102-mile-an-hour splitter.
Now, at Davenports Sports Network and Davenports on Sports, we get the insight. We get in with these athletes. And we should have a call-in from Mr. Molina soon, and maybe he can discuss the whole incident. But it's not good.
I've been nervous.
Well, hopefully, hold on one second.
All right.
Davenports on Sports.
Hey, it's B-Rad from Omaha. What's up?
Hey, how you doing, Brad?
I'm well. Hey, I don't know what spawned this thought, but when the Pacers went to the NBA Finals in like 2000,
against
were
the
they
Lakers.
kind of over the hill? Were they kind of like the savvy veteran team? Take me back to those days.
Well, if I'm just going to think right off the top of my head who was on that team. You got Reggie, you got Smits, you got Rose, You got Mark Jackson. I think Chris Mullen was still on that squad. Travis Best. Austin Crozier. The Davis boys. Dale and Antonio, I think.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I'm a Laker fan, so living in Indiana, it was pretty rough at the time. I was hated by everybody. So it was a hell of a series, but I think Shaq just dominated it.
Yeah.
There was always rumors that Shaq said, whether he's serious or not, and a couple of my buddies have even told me this, Shaq said that Rick Smits was one of the toughest centers he ever played against, which he was 7'4". But
he was a big guy. He was stout, so I could see that.
The Duncan Dunchman. He wasn't a very good shot blocker for his size.
No.
So I got a question for you, Brandon.
Okay.
That Pacer roster before, I mean, in the NBA days, not the ABA days, is that the best roster the Pacers have had?
That 2000 finals team?
Yes.
Probably so. I think, like I said, I hate to take anything away, but the heyday of the Pacers was in the ABA. I think they won 3 championships in 4 years in the ABA. George McGinnis, Billy Keller. So, well, I'm not even a Pacer fan, so I don't even know why I would know that.
Well, hey, Brad, thanks for calling in. We are waiting for a special call-in, so we appreciate you giving us a call, though.
Yeah, no problem, man.
And loyal listener.
Yes, very loyal. Thank you, Brad.
Yep. Later on, guys. Thanks.
See you, buddy.
Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Pacers.
We were talking about the Molina getting the splitter.
Yeah, the splitter. And hopefully he calls in here soon. Because I really want to talk to him about it. And
well, he told us he would. So
yeah, hopefully he calls. Hey, could you explain to us what happened?
Well, it was 2 balls and no strikes when I got hit by the ball.
Yeah?
Next thing I knew, I was leaving the hospital with no strikes and only 1 ball.
Did your teammates give you a hard time?
Well, they used to bust my balls a lot. Now they just bust my nut.
Do you have any harsh feelings towards the Cubs or Chris Bryant?
No, Chris did all he could. He even kept it in his mouth to keep it clean on the way to the hospital.
Has this affected your performance in the bedroom?
I'll say this. The only thing that rises in St. Louis now is the crime rate.
So do you think this will affect your hitting?
Well, I've only been able to hit solo sack flies now.
Oh, man, okay. Yeah, here's the thing. You could hear him with... He still has a bag on it.
Is that a colostomy bag of some sort?
I'm wondering if that's not an ice pack. Because, I mean, right? He's got to be sore.
From the splitter. I really don't know what to say.
No, I don't either. Thank you, Mr. Molina, for calling in.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of a big deal if he's calling us. I mean, I'm assuming he's still in the hospital. So, I mean, yeah. Thank you, Mr. Molina.
Yeah, I mean, I promise next time you call in, we won't bust your balls too much about it.
Right.
We'll be cool like that ice pack.
Yeah. All right. Holy hell.
Okay, let's roll with some NBA. Brad called in and talked about the Pacers.
Okay.
I threw up. Okay. Rodney Hood, that whole thing, I texted you earlier today. Said, him not going into the game, refusing to go into the game, and everything. Does that shock you?
No, I think it was a made-up news story. He had apologized, by early evening. They got him from, I think, Utah. He hasn't really been happy since. He comes off the bench. He only played like 20 games for him. They got him right before the All-Star break. I want to say like very early February. I know I'm a little jaded, but I think it was all just it's okay. It's been really slow.
Yes.
And this was a created story to me. They're trying to, there's been no drama in Cleveland. They're done playing, waiting on Philly and Boston. So the jabronis in the suits and ties created some drama that doesn't even register with that team.
Well, reason why I bring that up today, with it being election day, I threw some polls out on Twitter. With the whole LeBron James thing possibly going, next year, it almost seems like a certainty, correct?
Are you telling me if they win a championship that he's going to jet out of Cleveland?
Is he going to win okay.
They just swept the Raptors.
Let me step back. I put out there who's most likely to leave the Cavs after this season, LeBron James or Rodney Hood.
Right.
81% saying Hood's out the door, 19% saying James is staying, or James is leaving and Hood's staying.
Well, you put it more likely, though. So a role player who's not happy or the superstar. I mean, it's like I said, I don't want to be a dick, but no shit. You know what I mean? Like,
sure. Really? I guess the wording was wrong, but it's just all that talk. I mean, I think even if, I don't think LeBron wants to stay in Cleveland. I just got a gut feeling. Even if they win a championship, he's going to walk out and say, well, here, I gave you this. I'm going to go somewhere else.
I don't think so. I think the way they're playing right now, barring anything crazy, it looks like they're going to be in the finals. So I think if he wins a ring, obviously all the trades were worked and all is right. All is right with the Cavs if they win a title.
I threw another poll out. I'm going to throw this kind of on you. The Red Sox and Yankees in 2019. Are you liking it? I mean, do you even care, or are you hating it? 47% saying it's great, 7% don't care, and another 47% hate it. What's your thoughts on it?
Oh, man, I'm going to be a dick again, but, like, we talked about this the Tuesday before opening day. I don't know. I think it's kind of ridiculous because it's one of the greatest rivalries, if not the greatest rivalries in baseball, and it should be here. I think that would be like saying, I don't know, let's just go 2007. Let's put the Patriots and Colts in London and see how well that goes over.
It probably wouldn't.
Right. So I get it. I don't know what everybody's fascination is with going overseas, but that series doesn't make any sense to me.
Yes.
And I said, I think we covered it.
We did. It was a trendy thing today on Twitter. So, I could see maybe like your lower tier teams, maybe have the Marlins go over there and play. But to have those two go just kind of blows my mind.
Yeah, it just doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. Give them a show. Yeah. But if you want to send somebody over there, send over the defending champs.
Exactly. I agree.
Don't take away that from us.
It's all about the Benjamins, man. That's all it's about.
Okay, Puffy.
I know. I had to. It was there for my taking.
All right. So, all week we've been talking about online getting lambasted with our sports comedy films, our top 5 sports comedy movies.
Yes. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. I guess. I've calmed down since.
Yes. Well, what we're going to do is, I want us to go over our list. Then we're going to open up the lines again and have you all call in. And what's your favorite sport movie?
before I get into that, I just want to talk a little bit about how I came up with this. Okay? You take a movie like The Sandlot. Okay? To our generation, that's a beloved classic. Okay? That's a great movie. That's Stand By Me. That's The Goonies. You watch it and it's just great every time, and it's got heart. It's got everything you want in a movie that makes you feel good. That being said, if you're laughing during The Sandlot like you would during Dumb and Dumber, you got prob. Because it's not calm, okay? It's not calm. Okay? It pisses me off. Okay? Look. Or let's just take like Major League, which was the fucking hot topic. Okay? The Wizard of Oz is a better movie. Maybe Wizard of Oz might be the best movie ever. But I'm going to laugh more at Major League. Does that make Major League the better movie? Absolutely not. Makes it the better calm. If you're laughing at the Scarecrow and Cowardly Lion, you retard. Here's the thing. Movies like that, like Wizard of Oz, Sandlot, they put a smile on your face, but it ain't a comedy smile. It's a feel good. It tickles your heartstrings smile. You know, it just ticks me off, dude. You know who you own Creed albums. If you think The Sandlot's the funniest fucking comedy, you own Creed albums.
What's your hate on Creed?
They suck. Dude, that's what I mean. We had this whole thing online. It's like Bull Durham's the best baseball comedy. It ain't. Dude, Bull Durham is way better of a movie than Major League. Way better. But not funnier. And just because it's inane doesn't make it bad. There's a cast of characters. You know, watching Kevin Costner and Tim Robbins trying to get laid for 90 minutes in a rom-com ain't funny. If they remade Bull Durham today, it'd have Matthew McConaughey and Kate Hudson in it. Fucking turn around, get captured. You know what I mean? Fuck. Okay.
Here's what I based mine off of. You know, obviously comedies like, you know, A League of Their Own. I think it's bad if we're gonna just go sport movies, not sport comedies. It would be in my top 5.
Absolutely.
But I mean, it might even be my top 3. But I base my list off of ones that I can watch again and I can laugh when I watch again. So, with that being said, we'll go down our list. Then we'll open up the lines. Feel free to call in.
Yeah, dude, I love A League of Their Own. But you know what A League of Their Own is? It's cute. It's so cute. It's not hilarious. There's scenes that's pure comic genius between Tom Hanks and the little kid and Tom Hanks and Gina Davis. Pure magic happens in that film. But it ain't Caddyshack.
Yeah, I'm not laughing the whole time.
No, you're not fucking rolling around on the ground. Oh my God, I can't believe that happened. Oh, this is classic. This is the line right here. I quote this whenever we're out on the baseball diamond. Yes, there's no crying in baseball. Okay, that's great. Perfect. Penny Marshall, fantastic. Well written. Not funny.
All right, let's start our list. Number 5. Who do you got?
This is not going to be a good pick. This is going to not be a good pick for anybody. But for my brand of humor and how much I like the guys in it and their history, mine is Basketball. Trey Parker, Matt Stone. It's directed by David Zucker, who did Airplane, The Naked Gun, and you might remember a little movie called Top Secret with Val Kilmer. Do you remember that movie?
Yes, I do. That unfortunately.
Was so bad. Love it. But that's... David Zucker's like screwball comedy. I dig it. What's your number 5?
My number 5, Talladega Nights. Love it. It's just one of them things where you can watch it and the next day watch it again and laugh. I mean, there's so many, catchphrases and stuff that came from that movie. It's genius with Sacha Baron Cohen and Will Ferrell, and I just love it.
John C. Reilly's underrated. He's awesome. Everybody's really good in that. That is actually my number 4. I love Adam McKay directed it. I think he is like one of my favorite modern day comedy directors. He did Anchorman, Step Brothers, and he did The Other Guys. And I'm not even a big Mark Wahlberg fan, and I loved The Other Guys.
My number 4, I went with The Longest Yard, the Adam Sandler. With all the wrestlers and stuff in it, ex-athletes. Nelly was in it. I mean,
Furtado?
Yeah, it was great.
He's like a bird.
He had the Band-Aid and everything. It was great. It's something you can watch.
I'm trying to think. So who we got in that movie? We got Kevin Nash. We got Stone Cold.
Goldberg.
Great Khali.
There's someone else. Football players. Michael Irvin was in it.
Romanowski.
Yes.
Who was the guy? Oh my God! I just had a brain fart. Chris Bosworth. The Boz was in it too.
Yes. It's great. It has all these athletes. It's perfect comedy, I think. Not the perfect comedy, but...
Right, I agree. I don't think it's Adam Sandler's best sports comedy. I actually think it might be about his third, but...
Okay.
Okay, so that brings me, perfect segue. My number 3 is 1996 Happy Gilmore, directed by Dennis Dugan, who is super underrated. He's in a bunch of awesome old movies. He's in The Howling. He plays a part in The Howling, but he directed Big Daddy, Grown Ups, Just Go With It, Saving Silverman, which it's like a guilty pleasure. I can watch Saving Silverman over and over on a loop. And he directed Problem Child, which I also love that movie. Junior, dude.
Junior
Healy.
My number 3 has some Problem Childs in it, and it was The Mighty Ducks.
Emilio Estevez.
He that's an Oscar-winning performance by him.
Dude, he did some obscure stuff back in the day. Have you ever seen Repo Man?
Yes.
With him?
Who was in it with him?
Oh my gosh. I'm having a brain fart. He's one of my favorite character actors. Oh no.
I'm going to it. Keep talking.
He was in Christine. He is in oh no. He's like one of my favorite character actors. Harry Dean Stanton.
Yes, I was getting ready to say it.
I love Harry Dean Stanton. He's always in weird movies. But no, that's actually a good pick. I think I missed the boat on. We have a bit of an age difference, and I think I missed the boat on the Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, I think you did.
But people, love it. It's a revered classic. All right, my number 2. Probably, if it wasn't for number 1, would be my favorite. It's one of my favorite movies, and that is from 1996, Kingpin. Directed by the Farrelly brothers, who did Dumb and Dumber, There's Something About Mary, Shallow Hal. Dude, Woody Harrelson as Roy Munson is one of my favorite people ever. Big Ern McCracken, Big Ern, Murray. Dude, Cousin Eddie, Ishmael. It's just, it hits all of the right chords with me. I absolutely love Kingpin. Randy Quaid's great. It's so good, man.
I agree. I'll get to Kingpin here soon after our thing. My second was Major League. It's almost the perfect sports comedy. I mean, it's your standard. The team sucks. They bring in these, troubled players or crazy players, and they all come together and go. And you know what I mean? It's hilarity ensues, type of thing.
Pre-AIDS Sheen.
Well, he didn't have it then, did he?
No, it was pre-AIDS Sheen.
He had the tiger blood flowing.
There is a guy I think he's the manager. His name's James Gammon. I absolutely love James Gammon. He's been in he started out, I think his first movie, he had a little tiny bit part in Cool Hand Luke, which is one of the first movies that I watched, and as soon as it was over, I rewatched. Just powerful. But he was in They Live. Oh man, what has he been in? Silver Bullet, which is love Silver Bullet, one of my favorite movies ever. And Natural Born Killers. He just rocks. James Gammon. I like a good character actor. It's a good pick, man.
Who's your number one?
Dude, my love for these people in this movie, from writers, directors, to the cast, it can't be beat. I know it is probably cliche, but Caddyshack, man, 1980. Directed by Harold Ramis, man. Egon. Okay, he directed Vacation, the original one. Groundhog Day. He wrote Animal House. He wrote Meatballs. He wrote Stripes, Ghostbusters, Back to School. Dude, then you got Chevy Chase. You got Bill Murray. You got maybe the funniest dude that ever lived, Rodney Dangerfield, who on set was like, I watched the story on it. He was wondering why when he would tell the jokes, like he would read his line, nobody would laugh. And he's like, oh, this is going to bomb. Nobody's laughing. They're like, that's not how movies work, Rodney. It was awesome. Growing up, a little kid, I mean, it was geared towards everybody. There's adult humor. There's a freaking gopher that kids love. I love it.
Yeah, it's the perfect comedy. Sports comedy. Even out on the golf course. I'm a golfer. You'll say stuff, you know what I mean? It's a great, wholesome sports comedy. Mine is
it wholesome?
No, it's wholesome for if they're adults.
Bill Murray, they think he's a piece of shit. You know what I mean?
That is is it? It's a Baby Ruth,
right? But that's a gag.
It's a great comedy.
I think Ted Knight. There's something about Ted Knight as Judge Smales in that movie. He's just so underrated for some reason. Just the bad guy's funny. The good guys are funny. It's just really great. It spawned one of the worst sequels of all time.
Sure.
It's hard to go against something. I mean, Ty Webb, Chevy Chase. I think my favorite line. I feel like he's in the locker room with Judge Smales. He says he doesn't keep score, and the judge is like, "Well, how do you measure yourself with other golfers?" And he's like, "By height." We could say that it's not funny. The delivery of these guys, the comedic talent, just amazing.
Yes, that is why it's my number one as well.
Oh, nice.
Yes. Now, we had talked about some movies that maybe didn't make the cut on our list. You want to go over them?
Yeah, I got a few honorable mentions, and then I get a few that maybe flew under the radar a little bit that people should check out. I really, really wanted to put, I had three of them. I wanted to put Slapshot on there, but it's not a full-blown comedy. I love Paul Newman, the Hanson brothers, everything. But I would say Major League, Waterboy, I feel like is one I can watch over and over and over. And then there's kind of a cult following movie now. It's got Kurt Russell and Robin Williams in it. It's called The Best of Times. It came out in 1986. and it's about Kurt Russell was the big-time quarterback in high school, and Robin Williams missed a catch in the state championship game in Texas and screwed up everything. So they want to go and replay the game. Robin Williams is like this nerd now that gets pushed around by everybody, and Kurt Russell's kind of I think he's a mechanic in town. It's kind of fallen from grace. I just absolutely love The Best of Times.
I might have to check that out.
You got any?
Yeah, I had a couple. You had mentioned they're actually on your list. I mean, Kingpin, that was I wanted to put that at 4, but the Longest Yard just seemed more rewatchable. And then
I think that's a good. I liked your list because it is I think it's a generational thing. Like I love the original Longest Yard, and the remake didn't. It kind of missed with me, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're gonna have different views on it, I'm sure. But then my other one was basketball. I mean, I remember watching that for the first time over at your place, and dude, I was just laughing the whole time.
Dude, Squeak.
Squeak Scolari.
Squeak, little bitch Scolari.
That's who we need to get on our show. I'm gonna reach out.
What is his name? Bader? I can't think of his.
I'll find out.
I got a few though that people should check out that maybe kind of flew under the radar. Stuff's flying under the radar all the time now with bullshit Marvel movies that are released. But back in 2007, there was a independent film called The Hammer, starring Adam Carolla. And man, that movie is funny. It's got a lot of heart, and definitely check it out. And there's a movie with Sean William Scott. It's a hockey movie called Goon. It's definitely got to check it out. Liev Schreiber's in it. Liev Schreiber's like a big time fighter in hockey, and he's on his way down, and Sean William Scott's on his way up, and they kind of meet, and it's pretty rad, actually.
Hey, one I didn't think about, I just seen on here. What about Little Giants with Ed O'Neill in it?
I know there's like, if we had a list of like 20, there would be all those on there. Cause like, when I posted the polls, some of them were just for fun.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they were going to be on our list of top 5. It's just like fun. Have fun with it. There's better movies, but don't be a fucking basket of cats,
Yeah, no, I agree. No. So, yeah, Amanda put on there, said Little Giants with Ed O'Neill. So, I totally forgot about that movie.
Oh, no, it's good. It's just not, I mean, what are you going to put it over in the top 5? That's the question. That's the biggest question I have with a lot of them. It's like, can I really put that over something?
Yeah.
There was a movie, this is going to make me sound gay, but there was Drew Barrymore's, I think it was her directorial debut. She did an awesome movie. It's not Fall on the Ground. Oh my God, it's the funniest thing I've ever seen. But she did a movie about roller derby called Whip It. And I really dig that movie.
I don't think I've seen that.
It's got Juliette Lewis in it, love her. Kristen Wiig's in it. Drew Barrymore, Ellen Page, Juno girl is the lead. Jimmy Fallon's in it. It's got a lot of heart. Who is in that? Who is the dad? Daniel Stern, I think, is in it. Who plays the dad? It's got a lot of heart. I recommend it.
Well, I might. Is it on Hulu?
I have no idea. All these like movies I have. I'm old, so I have them all on Blu-ray because I can't trust Netflix or somebody to have. If I want to watch Toxic Avenger or Salo or Cannibal Holocaust or some off-the-cuff movie, these places aren't going to have what I want to watch.
They might have blood-sucking freaks, though.
No way. Hey, they're making Toxic Avenger 5.
What? No.
It's happening. Uncle Lloyd broke the news the other day.
Well, I just seen where the guy that played the original Toxie passed away.
I think, John Altamira. He was Toxic Avenger in Toxic Avenger Part 2, which is Toxic Avenger Part 2 might be my favorite Toxie. That's where he folds he molds the little black midget up into a basketball and slam dunks him.
I miss Melvin. I don't think the wife's ever seen it. So next time you're down, next time we're up there, we're watching the Toxic Avenger.
All right. Today I almost like John Candy. I absolutely love him. I think he's a guy like he should be beloved by everyone. But he was uncredited, but he was in Rookie of the Year, and he was Cool Runnings, of course. And he was in Brewster's Millions, the remake of Brewster's Millions in the 80s with Richard Pryor. I absolutely love that movie. He played Spike Nolan in that movie. I'm kind of nerding out a little bit. So,
yeah, keep it going. Keep it going.
Well, it sounds like I had all this prepared, but I'm just talking. So.
Now, what did John Candy play in Rookie of the Year?
He was uncredited. He was the announcer at the stadium.
That's what I thought.
We just watched it a few weeks ago. I hate it. But everybody likes it. It's got Busey in it, which is hilarious. I laugh at Busey's teeth. And then it's got John Candy in it. So, I mean...
I get them and Angels in the Outfield like mixed up all the time.
I want Jennifer Gordon-Levitt. I hate Jogo. I hate Joseph Gordon-Levitt, dude. Even as a child, I hated him. I don't like Danny Glover either, and Matthew McConaughey's in it. Don't like Matt, you know. But yeah, Angels in the Outfield. Is Christopher Lloyd in that? I like.
Yeah, him. He plays the angel, don't he? No,
I don't know. I don't think I've ever sat down and watched the whole thing. Like when that came out, I was like fully into like Friday the 13th and Freddy. I didn't give a shit.
Toxic Avenger.
Right. Like the current, you know, I even like, I don't know. I like silent movies. I would rather watch the original Frankenstein or Dracula or Creature from Black Lagoon than Angels in the Outfield. I
think I watched Nosferatu with you.
Yeah, I've probably made people sit through. I've heard a lot of you watch this. I like Metropolis is one of my favorite silent movies. Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, right up there. Some of the first true great horror films were. I can't get people to watch black and white movies. You know, it's almost impossible.
See, I had no problem because we used to. I mean, back when we were younger, back in our golden days, we'd come over. Okay, we'd get some whiskey or beer. We'd sit around. We'd watch movies, and 90% of them was horror. Am I wrong?
No, that's about right.
It was great.
Yeah, dude. I mean, everything from Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer.
Yes.
That was an awesome movie. I love that movie.
They remade it, didn't they?
I feel like I don't think they remade it. They may have made a sequel.
Okay, I got them mixed up. They remade The Hitcher.
Oh, God, that was awful. That was during the early to mid 2000s boom of when they were remaking every single horror movie ever made.
Now it's just superhero movies.
Yeah, they'll beat that to death.
But dude, they're making so much money off of it. It's crazy.
I read like this thing because I'm like dreading it. I feel like the movies are gonna. These big, huge Marvel movies are gonna kill. They're gonna kill the artist. There's people out there with great ideas. There's people. Okay, here's what I'm gonna say. I'll just sum it up with this. I feel like 25 years ago, you had to believe in your movie to get it made. You had to work your ass off to get that script in front of somebody with any kind of power. There were guys that would just shoot a trailer and to try to get their movie sold before they even shot a movie. You don't have to try anymore. Netflix will buy anything. Look at the new Adam Sandler movie and Chris Rock movie. They'll buy anything. You don't have to try anymore to make a movie. It's gonna get made, and it's diluted the water.
Well, and that even brings up YouTube. I mean, how many people start YouTube channels that make movies? You know what I mean? Short films, I want to say. You know, that turn into movies.
Yeah, and even on like X Hamster.
Yeah, you know, you guys ought to check that site out.
Yeah, Brazers.
Yeah, great
Short
stuff.
films.
Yeah, some last about 3 minutes, some last 50. It just depends on your.
And some of them just last as long as you want them to last.
Yeah. I mean, there's no rush, but if you're in a rush, you get in there and get out, watch a movie.
I feel like I jabbered a lot because the movies, you know how much I love them. I love it just like I do music. Yeah, I feel like I jabbered a lot tonight.
I tell you what, if we didn't go this route, I would have been like, hey, let's start a movie podcast. Because I could seriously just sit here and say this movie, and you're going to talk about it for 15 minutes. It'll be great.
It's just, like I said, the criteria to me for comedy, I don't look at necessarily the most, character development, and I'm not talking about stupid comedies here. It just, if you really want to laugh, you got to go to these movies. Let me make anybody laugh.
Let me ask you this: with the whole movies nowadays, okay? I know we're totally off sports, but it's what it is. Is there anything other than a Marvel movie or a DC movie? Is there any other movie that gets the hype that those movies get?
There might be a few of them. Like, I just seen the other day, like Jurassic World 2 is already has a release date. Jurassic World 3 already has a release date. It's like, my God.
Yeah, I remember the days where they made the movie and then they were like, yeah, we might make another one. And it'd be 3 years, 4 years.
It costs $300 million to make, and it makes $500 million. That's great. But the real artists out there, you'll see some of those movies like The Conjuring. It'll be, I'm just ballparking here. You're talking a $15, $20 million movie, and it's grossing $200 million. Those are the kind of movies that pay for this crap.
Well, it goes back to, go and watching the Blair Witch Project. They spent like $10,000 to make that movie. And how much did it make?
Right. I think it's one of the most profitable. I think it cost $30,000 to make for some reason. But,
see, I was wondering. I thought I read something where the first Paranormal Activity beat that.
Okay, yeah, because I think the original one was the first. Tobe Hooper's Texas Chainsaw Massacre was made for little of nothing, and it was the first. But yeah, you're probably right. That makes sense.
I mean, it costs like $7,000 to make that, which I don't get how it costs $7,000 to make Paranormal Activity. We could make that on a weekend. You know what I mean? And for $50.
Yeah, but nobody wants to see us at White Castle.
Wait, I tell you what, Rick brought up earlier, I'm going to jump back here, about doing a live show, that Tenderloin Challenge. I think I'm in on that.
It would be fun to do something, because, I don't want to... Our podcast, we're on a sports... We started our own sports network, sure, but, our podcast is going to be about anything and everything.
Exactly.
Where there's no rules.
I tell you what, if you're still listening, I'll message you even after this. I challenge you to the Tenderloin Challenge of a One-Eyed Jacks. I'm putting Davenports Sports Network's name on the line for this. And it's a pub, too, so I can drink beer to really flush it down.
Perfect. I'm in. I'll go.
We're gonna get that set up. We'll get that posted That'll be a hell of a time.
I'll be cutting a glory hole in the bathroom.
That would not shock me. He did that at Hideaway.
Why not? You know?
Yeah, I mean, you only live once, I guess. So,
YOLO.
YOLO. Oh man.
Glory YOLO.
Yeah. This is totally off the subject, but it's not, and I gotta mention it since you brought that up. Pulled into a gas station. I travel for work.
Oh boy! Oh god!
I'm going in I go take a piss, okay, and I'm in. They have like 2 stalls. I look over there, and there's one perfect height, and it's just awkward because there was someone in the other one. I don't know if they're using the restroom, but I just zipped it up and got on out.
Oh, well, that's cool. I would have probably just stuck it in and found out.
Yeah, I mean. I just... Well, the thing is, I kind of peeked in there and I seen you. So I figured that'd be a little awkward.
I was George Michael in it.
George Michael in it. God.
Wake me up before you glory hole.
I was just in total awe. Oh, my God.
Just next time, just slide $5 in there and see what happens.
No, I'm good. But, yeah, I just told my glory hole story to the whole world.
I can't believe that. Where was it at? Can we get an address?
No, I will never go there. It was up north. I'll say that. By South Bend. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, okay. I know where you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. You were there. Yeah. That's where you go every day. You go down there, make $20, and
I do a bird bath in the sink every day just to kind of start my day.
I get you. Makes sense. Oh my God, this is bad.
There was really, oh my God, I can't. And oh my God, we're down to our diamond listeners, so maybe nobody heard it.
Yeah, maybe. And it's gonna go viral, just like the herps.
The virus.
Exactly. Well, oh my God, I can't believe we took it that way.
You did, dude. You talk about pork and tenderloins.
Yeah, well, you brought up the glory hole.
I did bring up the glory hole, yeah.
And I just happened to say I seen one. Didn't say I used it.
Hey, before we go, there is some other sporting news I want to talk about real quick. It's apparently turkey season or something.
Yes.
So, and fox or coyote. I feel like Duggar's trying to kill. He's like, it's not quail season. I think he's killing every animal he can see.
He might. I don't know. I really don't know.
Coming right for me, Dave.
We need to get him on the phone. And I mean I don't know if he'd answer. We can get him a call. Number? Well, you're gonna have to give me him, and I'll have to look it up here, okay? Because he's messaged me 1,000,000 times. He's in a bowling league, so okay. I'm going to try giving him a call. I will hang up before the voicemail hits, though.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to go to phone call here. You know, you can keep the audience going while I'm getting ready here.
7, 6.
Well,
it's almost 9:30. The bowling's got to be over, dude. It's past their curfew. They are due back.
We're calling. I thought he answered.
Hello?
Hey, Justin?
Justin!
Who's that?
It's Brandon and Dave. You're live on the air. Snakebite?
Duggar!
Who's that?
This is Dave and Brandon. You're on.
Oh, what's up, Brandon?
No.
What are you doing,
Fuck Dave, bro.
No.
You said
Hey.
Brandon.
No, you're not. You're...
Hey, you're live on Facebook talking.
What?
Hey,
Did you get any? How'd you do hunting? We want to know how you did hunting, man.
I had to get a shot from my moped. I just got I got a tire flew out on me, and
air 2 hours.
Have you been able to go hunting?
Yeah, I'm just shooting to get fit by tomorrow, and then I'm gonna go hunting in the morning, Thursday morning.
All right.
So,
Now,
Early bird gets the worm.
Now, Justin, I seen on your Facebook post that you shot at a turkey.
yeah, I missed shoot 40 yards out.
Did you kill him?
It's a turkey. I missed a turkey shot on about 40 yards.
Hey, okay, I got a question for you.
What's that?
How do you feel? Okay, I mean here's the thing. That turkey might have some turkey children. Okay? They're running out, they're gonna give them some food, boom, you're killing them. How does that make you feel?
Okay.
That's good. Okay, that's a good answer. Justin, I would like to know what is your favorite funny sports movie?
Always a hunter. That's what a part of the hunter do.
I think The Deer Hunter, he said. Diddy Mal. That is a good, funny scene.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. Son of a bitch.
Hey, Justin, can we call you next week? Are you bowling?
No, I'm pre-ball Friday.
Free Ball Friday, no.
My bad. I forgot. So you know you're live on Facebook right now, right?
You want to give any shout-outs?
Maybe give a shout out to Dustin?
Yeah. It's TRL.
Yeah.
Give a shout-out.
Yeah. Yep. All right, man.
You want to say hi to Dave and Amber or Mary,
Yeah.
Brian, Sydney?
You want to say hi to Dave or Amber?
Okay, yeah.
You want to say hi?
Who?
Okay. We appreciate you.
Yeah. We'll call you next week, Duggar.
Good luck hunting. Happy hunting.
Bye.
Bye.
I think his handler was telling him to get off the phone.
That could be. All right, everybody. Well, you ready to rock out?
Yeah. Hey, and go to anybody near Grand Haven area. The song that's being played, they're shooting the video for it Sunday, May 20th. Go be in it.
Yeah, it's on a Sunday. I might show up in Holland or Grand Rapids. I'm sorry.
It's Grand Haven.
Grand Haven. Close. It's grand.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is Sunday Cruising off the new EP, Sunday Cruising.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks, everybody. Thanks again, Rick.
Sunday morning I wake up and I wanna go to the beach. Hit the road, won't go far, got the windows down, I feel the breeze. Fast cars and beaches, got my summer days filled with fun. Hot girls in bikinis, it's the best time under the sun. Chilling at the coast, saw some really old friends of mine. Talk about the good old days, started smoking and feeling fine. Sunday beach cruising was a place we wanted to be. With my friends boozing, cruising up and down the ceiling singing. Sunday cruising up to the beach, the sun is shining on my feet. I got the music blasting from under my seat. The girls are waving up and down the street. Well, Sunday cruising up to the beach, oh yeah. Well, Sunday cruising up to the beach, oh yeah. Every morning I wake up, still sweating from the summer heat. Drop the top in my car, the better down, feel the speed. Popping tops and boozing is my favorite time of the week. With my girl cruising, jamming down to the beat, let's sing. Sunday cruising out to the beach, the sun is shining on my feet. I got the music when I wake up, I wanna go to